Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo-la-la, foo-la-la, foo-la-la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all of those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise. Hello, mothers and daughters. Today, I'm back with a great interview, and I hope I don't mess this name up, but my guest today is Elizabeth, let me say it right, Wisniewski?
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski. See, I knew I was good. And I sat here and I kept saying it. I felt like I was in like second grade sounding it out. Thank you for being my guest today. I appreciate you taking the time out to introduce yourself to our mothers and daughters that watch this show and listen to this show. Yes, we do have a few sprinkles of men that listen as well, but our show is dedicated to women. And my theory is that we have a podcast show that is for every woman on the planet, because you're either a daughter or you are a mother. So that's every woman on the planet. You're either a daughter or you're a mother, one or the other. And if you don't have a daughter, you have a mother. So I am so interested in finding out about your chiropractic business. And let me tell you why. I've always known that chiropractic services is good for the body, but I've also attached it to kind of, a spiritual type of journey as well. But then also I connected to preventative and all types of other healthy ideas for the body to keep it in line. And of course, when we're going through different spiritual journeys and things like that, we want to keep not just our mind in line, but our bodies and all those type of things. So first question is, how long have you had your chiropractic business and what made you start that type of business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've almost been in practice 12 years. And I actually love when you were saying the spiritual part. It reminded me of a quote I want to share from our founder of chiropractic, D.D. Palmer in Davenport, Iowa in 1895. And he said, "Life is but the expression of spirit through matter. To make life manifest requires the union of spirit and body." So I really
right on time with that one. And I promise
yes.
you, let me just tell the audience right now, we did not rehearse this. Tell them I did not send you
We
preset
did not.
questions. I did not. We did not rehearse this. I just took a wild guess just from I've had chiropractic services done. I know many chiropractors in the past, and I've always just kind of looked at the journey of a chiropractor, and that's really how I uh came up with that conclusion. And so I just
Yeah.
wanted to kind of share that. Okay, so that was a wonderful quote. Thank you for confirming what I
Yes.
always thought. What made you start this type of business? Because we could do many
Yeah.
other things, but how did you
Mm-hmm.
get into this type of business, really helping individuals?
Yes. And my Siberian Husky Jaya is here dancing around, so I apologize if you hear that
I
or
don't.
any blows. Okay, good, because he's right next to me doing the most.
Hey, why
So,
now? Why would he be who he is and not do the most? Why would he want to do the
I know, and his name means victory in Sanskrit, so he's like living up to it right
exactly?
now. So
Exactly.
my journey has been circuitous. I was on a path to go to law school and double majored. I went to the University of Montana. I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I was living in Missoula. Double majored in environmental studies and political science,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to be an environmental attorney. I studied abroad 3 times in Guatemala, Brazil, and Nicaragua, doing environmental and social justice work throughout the Americas on the Blackfoot Reservation in Montana. I was
Mm-hmm.
really passionate about social justice.
Okay.
And right when I graduated, I had my 30th eye surgery. I have a really rare retinal disease found mostly in boys in the Middle East. And I am a woman. And as you can tell from my last name, very Polish, both sides of my family. So it doesn't really make sense. And I've come to a place of acceptance and understanding around it that my soul chose this journey to lose my eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this 30th surgery and I was in a lot of pain and physically could not open my eyes
Wow.
after that surgery for weeks and weeks. And I
Mm-hmm.
was back home in Michigan. I had all my surgeries in Detroit
Mm-hmm.
and heard a commercial for medical massage school. And I just thought, okay, my eyes always bounce back after these surgeries. Let me just give it some time and I'll go to massage school for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up doing a year program, almost 1,300 hours of that. Had never taken anatomy before, but it just made sense to me. It all clicked. So
Right.
about 2 weeks in, I got my first chiropractic adjustment. And I told my dad, I was like, thanks for paying for undergrad, but I think I'm going to go in a different direction. I really believe I'm meant to be a chiropractor.
Uh-oh.
And my dad supported me. He was like, okay, I could see that.
You know
And
what?
that's what,
Thankful to your dad for not saying, "What do you mean?" But thankful to your dad that he said, "Okay, I can see that." Because most parents pay for college and they think you're supposed to be,
mm-hmm.
like you said, lawyer or whatever. And then when you decide you're going to do something else, they get pretty hot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's the ultimate girl dad. My mom passed away from breast cancer when I was 14, and he
Mhm.
was left with 3 girls to raise, all water signs. And
Oh,
so he's really, really sweet. And so he understood it
yeah.
and allowed me to do that and supported it. So I had to go take all of my science classes like chemistry and physics
Right.
without being able to see the equations and do all the math out loud mentally with the professors.
Oh,
Because I was so motivated at 21, 22 of
right.
like, I'm going to be a chiropractor.
Right. Oh man, that is a beautiful story. And you know what? Again, thankful to your dad that he had the courage to he got baptized by fire. But that's a beautiful journey because you
Yeah.
look at things happen in life and they're not always roses. Bad things happen or sad things happen or things like that happen, and you sometimes it stops people in their tracks, and for you it propelled you forward, and that is a beautiful story to have in your memory. That's really one. You're located in Montana, you said?
No, now I'm in Ventura, California.
In
So,
Ventura, California. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
don't
So
tell
I
me
went.
don't tell me you're moving to Texas next week.
I don't have that in the
It's a
plan.
running joke. It's a running joke. All the Californians are
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
to Texas. Just a joke.
They are. Or
Yeah.
Montana too. No, I went to Cairo school in the Bay Area in San
Okay.
Jose,
Okay.
moved down then right when I graduated, to Santa Barbara. And
Okay.
I was in Santa Barbara for 11 years. And then 6 months ago, moved myself 30 minutes away, myself and my practice,
Okay.
um, to Ventura. So now I kind of take care of this big region from LA all the way up to Santa Barbara because I'm a certified perinatal chiropractor. So my specialty is working with people throughout the perinatal continuum. So from preconception, prenatal, into postpartum. And that makes it so I get to take care of a lot of babies. And that's really sweet too, through really gentle chiropractic care.
Oh, I love it. Gentle chiropractic care. That's a nice combination of words. Okay. I have to write
Yes.
that down. I like that gentle chiropractic care. I've never heard that term, but that felt so calming. You know, there are a lot of people
Mm,
actually afraid of chiropractic services, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people. My daughter has a chiropractor that she sees, and she says that people come in there for the first time and they literally think they're gonna have their back broken or their neck broken. They've been afraid
Hmm.
for so long, but of course they maybe had like a car accident or they, had some type of issue sleeping or whatever, and they were sent there by, maybe a doctor, something like that, maybe they see a naturopath or something. And
Hmm.
they get there and she said they literally are afraid and they're scaring and shaking, and she said she never had that feeling, and she always brags about how great she feels after the services. So uh,
Yeah.
I've had it done a few times as well too, so I do understand. Let me ask you this, because
Hmm.
you're in a very unique situation, and I know that you said that your vision is impaired, but you've mustered through everything, and I'm proud that you're able to have that story. But when you are getting new clients, let's focus on the new clients.
Hmm.
Because even when you get a baby as a client, you still have to deal with the parent, of course. What are
Yeah.
some of the rewards that they've been able to impress upon to you? Because sometimes we're helping people, but they end up helping us too.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much every day. And I want to note before I dive into that, I got a second doctorate. I have a PhD in depth psychology. So it's Jungian,
Okay.
with specialization in somatic studies. And all my dissertation work was on cesarean birth from a cross cultural perspective.
Okay.
And that has deeply informed my practice, though having the combination of the PhD and the DC. So, I mean, the number one thing I learn every day in my life is patience. I think the world I couldn't be here if I could still see like the world couldn't handle it because I'm always on the move doing something.
That's
So
right.
every day I'm reminded, be patient, be present, especially with a newborn. This week I had a 4-day-old come in, and they're not fully awake to the world yet. And I'm using the pressure on their
Mm,
spine, on their cranial bones, like I'm touching my own eyelid or testing a tomato if it's ripe. So it's that gentle, but
yeah.
it's so powerful. This 4-day-old baby, her mom was right next to me. We were kneeling down. I was talking to the baby about her birth, and
Mm,
I was just helping her neck unwind because she was having a hard time having a deeper latch for
mm,
breastfeeding. And
mm.
this 4-day-old goes,
Oh, oh.
and I almost cried. Like it was so beautiful
Did you
because
say
there's
four
no
day? Did you say 4 day?
4 days old.
My
Yeah.
mind wanted to make me hear 4 weeks, but I had to clear that up with my mind. No, she said 4 days. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And I've seen them as young as 1 day old. The other day, I was with one of my patients in early labor,
Mm,
providing chiropractic care in between contractions. And I've been a doula. So,
oh,
all of it's about being present and dropping into your body instead of being up in your mind
right.
and kind of floating away. I really practice let's space in rather than spacing out.
Yeah.
Spacing out's really easy to do. Spacing in can be uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
that's where the gold is. And so that's what I learn every day when I'm with people. I'll see like 25 people a day, and I'm like, you got to be present in every moment, in every breath with each person.
Mm, I agree with that. I agree with that. I love that you said that. What are some of the challenges that you have with your unique situation and the business
Hmm.
you've created around you?
Well, technology is always changing. And so I actually will get really stressed when there's an app update or an iOS update on my
Oh,
phone. Because you heard my phone. I didn't know you could hear it over Zoom, but my
yeah.
phone talks, has the screen reader, and it's built into every iPhone. So I just have it
Oh,
turned on and it reads to me. But if
yeah.
something gets updated, I'm like, Oh no, but that's like practicing that patience and breath and everything, present moment consciousness again. But
Absolutely.
that stresses me out because that can slow me down. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm almost 12 years into practice, some things that used to be challenging for me, I find a lot more easeful of
Mm-hmm.
just naming because I have new patients every day that are referred in, and I don't do any marketing. It's all word of mouth.
Wonderful.
And I'm just very clear with them. I'm like, I cannot see you. I've lost my eyesight, but I have a really strong intuition, third eye. My
That's right.
hands and my heart are all very present.
That's right.
And I'm like, just let me know. Like, don't say it hurts here. Show me or say it's my right arm instead of pointing. So
Right.
just bringing that clarity of like feeling grounded in who I am and confident enough to be like, I can't see you. Can you say that out loud?
Right. Okay.
And so I think that's a good lesson for all of us of just being explicit in what our needs are so
Mm-hmm.
that they can be met because other people are reading your mind. So if you can bring them forward and make that explicit from your implicit part of your brain,
Yeah.
that can be helpful.
That is very helpful. Wow. So, in your practice, do you have very unique and specialized support there? I know that you have an assistant that works with
Mm-hmm.
you, but do you have any of other individuals that are there to just kind of support you so that when you do get those new clients that they don't
Mm-hmm.
understand, like, well, how does she do her job? You know, people who have sight don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that people without sight have like you said, the third eye. They have an extra
Yeah.
sense of other things that kick in. That sense of smell kicks in. That sense of
Yep.
presence kicks in. That sense of a lot of things kick in. So, do you have a lot of specialized help there with you?
I don't. It's just me. I have
Okay.
my personal assistant, but she's not, she'll be here sometimes doing things while I'm working, but
Right.
I'm a solo practitioner. I've had other businesses in the past. I find this is what works best for me.
It's beautiful.
And I like to spend a longer period of time than a lot of chiropractors with my practice members
Oh, good.
because of my other training and having a PhD in depth psychology. I want to tap in and talk to them about their birth story and if there's birth trauma. A lot of my research has also been within obstetric violence and obstetric racism. And so
Hmm.
it's really important for me to tap in and give them resources and to witness and hold space for what may have been a traumatic birth for
Hmm.
them or their baby.
Right.
And so I just take more time. I'm such an old school chiropractor in some ways where I have my table, I
Uh-huh.
have my hands, that's all I need. I don't use a lot of tools. It's hands, heart, third eye intuition, and that's what
And I
carries
think
me
that's the best.
through.
I mean, we
Yeah,
gotta remember all the basics because when all the other
right?
stuff goes away for whatever reason, or the funny thing is we love technology. I'll just tell you, we love technology, but when technology
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work, we have to remember the old ways of doing things.
Yeah.
You know, we
And
can't let it run our lives when there are other things to do that are just so much more a connectivity type of thing that you can do
mhm.
instead of saying, "Oh, let me put you in this chair and it's going to do this magic thing." Sometimes people just need the healing hand.
Exactly. And we find that bone setting, the precursor to chiropractic, hands on healing, is
Right.
found in most cultures around the world.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was Hippocrates said, look well to the spine for the cause of all disease. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going back 2,000 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jaya, no,
Yeah. I like that.
he's right here. I'm so sorry.
So, do you have, and again, like I was saying to you earlier, I've known many different chiropractors. Do you have a particular type of product or any particular type of, you know, intellectual property of any sort that you've created? For example, some of them will
Yeah.
have their own line of, books to help with whatever journeys. Some of them will have their own um something that has to do with healing type of line. Do you have a line or product of anything that you'd like to share? I want to make sure we hit everything.
Yes. Okay. So this is chiropractic adjacent. It was within my realm of
Gotcha.
perinatal. I've been working with a business partner and been building a femtech company for the past year and a half.
Okay.
And our website is up, the landing page, and it's called Diane and Me, DYAN and Me. And it's named after my mom, Diane, but it's also after the Roman goddess of the moon and fertility, Diana.
So is that
And
DianeandMe.com?
yeah, so
Okay, I want to make sure I put it in the
DYANN.
description bar for them to be able to click on. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. And so the Diana Me, the me stands for menstrual empowerment.
Okay.
And so this is an app we're developing that's going to be user owned data so that you feel really safe and secure tracking your cycle. It's
Mhm.
also going to allow for consent based sharing with your partner, or there'll be a teen version to share with your parents and your providers so that everything's really safe and user owned, so it's safe in different states and different countries, and that we won't have access to any of the data or the metadata as a company either. And it's going to have a lot of rituals built in, somatic, which is the lived experience, and all these different ways of empowering you to attune to your womb. And if you're in a relationship, to have your partner more attuned to your womb. So it's all about that connection with your body and your partner connecting so that we can better understand what's going on in our bodies, from having our menstrual cycle into perimenopause and
Mhm.
menopause and beyond. Because I think as a provider, I don't see a lot of usefulness when people show me their current cycle tracking apps. So I saw a big gap there. So Diana's going to provide a big plug for some of those holes that are out there in the current cycle tracking. So that's one of my biggest quote unquote side projects I've been building outside of practice.
Let me tell you why I asked that question, because from
Yeah.
entrepreneur to entrepreneur, we can never just do one thing, can we?
No.
Let me tell you, we'll sit here with 15 irons in the fire and go, you know what? I have an idea. And
Totally.
it's just our brain, the way it's wired. And once you become an entrepreneur, your brain gets totally rewired. And it's like when you see you can do something and you know you can do something else, you're going to go for it because you know what you know, and nobody else has to believe it, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. I know people are like, aren't you tired? I'm like, yeah, but I'm fired up about this. And I see this
Exactly.
gap in, oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Now you said
Yes,
you're in Ventura, California.
I
So
am.
in Ventura, California,
Mhm.
you have a practice that's in a community where people believe in chiropractic services. So how's your business going right now?
It's so busy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I already had a lot of patients down here when I moved 30 minutes away. So I had that base set.
yeah,
And I've known by doulas and midwives and OBs here. And
wonderful.
so I've had since opening 6 months ago about 180 new practice members without any marketing. But it's not just a magical thing that happened. When I moved to Santa Barbara and I didn't know anybody at the end of 2012,
Hmm.
a couple things that I did that can be really useful for anybody. It doesn't matter what business you're in. I got on some boards of some women business associations, such as the National Association of Women Business Owners, NAWBO, and they're all around the US.
Yeah, we have it
Um,
here in Houston. We have it.
yeah.
We have
So I
Ventura.
did that locally. And
Okay.
then the other thing, I made a list of all the types of people I would want to know, like PTs,
Right,
holistic dentists,
right.
anybody that was kind of more holistic. And then I started researching and I set up meetings. So I
Mhm.
met with about 200 business owners in person in about the first 2 years I was in Santa Barbara in this area. And
Don't forget those naturopath doctors, because
yes, I
if
love
you're into
naturopaths.
holistic health and healing, you definitely,
Mhm.
because there's a whole naturopath society. I know we have a big one here in
Yeah.
Houston, because where I go and get the eyes read and all of that stuff. She's one of the
Hmm.
presidents of the Houston location. And hey, I know that you're a member of NALBO, but make sure you consider American Business Women Association as well.
Oh.
I'm a networker. It's what built my business in the 90s.
Totally.
And ABWA was one of the first that I joined. And so I tell everybody about it, because
Yeah.
their whole slogan is doing life and business together. So
Mm.
it's women that have all kinds of unique businesses. But what I love about it is that they are always keeping you in mind. And we go
Mhm.
within first before we go without when someone needs a service that they're looking for. But you know what? I have to say
Yeah.
congratulations to you for networking and building your business and meeting with 200 people within the first couple of years, because most
Yeah.
people are so shy, or they're so focused on their own businesses that they
Mhm.
forget the element of networking, and that's the piece sometimes they're missing.
Yeah. And the big, a couple of the things I did that really helped that too is I didn't go into the meeting asking for referrals or even wanting that.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do. Most people go in passing out their business cards like it's
Yeah.
shuffling cards. And it's like, well, wait a minute. And I taught a class one time about you haven't earned the right to send your business card to anyone. You haven't earned the right. I don't know your name. I don't know what you do. I don't know if I feel like I'm going to refer you because I don't know your business well enough. But at
Yeah.
least talk to me and let me get to know you as a person because we do business with who we know, like, and trust. And I haven't even gotten you to establish that before you started shuffling your cards like we were at a card game. So,
Exactly.
it's just one of those things that some people have to be taught when it comes to the art of networking. And so I'm glad that you
Hmm.
know that already. And that's what's going to propel your business because you're not going in saying, hey, I have this business. Here's my cards. We got a special coming up on Wednesday. Like, forget all that. We don't know who you are first.
Yeah, people don't care. And so what I would really study their website and know their
Yeah,
mission and vision and
right.
then reflect that language back and be like, how can I help you in the community?
Exactly.
And I really put it back to like service.
Mm-hmm.
And and then sending handwritten thank you notes to follow up
That's right.
and really making it about their business authentically
That's
and
right.
building those connections so that now I'm almost 12 years in practice and I don't have to do any marketing or any of that.
That is,
And I'm constantly out of business cards because my people take them places they want them. I'm not even asking them to do it. So if you can get to that point, that's huge. And so I wasn't worried when I moved 30 minutes away because I knew that I was well known enough in this community, even though it's a couple towns away from Santa Barbara where I was for a long time, that I would be okay.
yeah.
And
No,
it's been really good.
I love that you have that. Back in the early 2000s, we used to call that net weaving, like a web
Hmm.
that weaves together. We used to call that net weaving. And it was more about what can I do to help you? And then, of course, that then in turn puts you at top of mind when they want to help you as well. Well, thank you so much for being on the Mother Daughter Ish podcast today. And are there any closing words that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Oh, I mean, the pressure now that I opened with that powerful quote.
I know. Hey, look, no pressure.
Oh my gosh. See, now they'll know this was authentic. We didn't plan this.
Right.
I'm just so grateful to have these opportunities. And when we can move into those vibrations of things like love and joy and gratitude, that really raises our frequency and the
Hmm.
frequency of the people around us and our communities. And that's how we can make a difference. That's where you can manifest when you're in those higher vibrations. So that's where I'm coming from today. I love doing these things despite Jaya being all around me dancing the whole time. I
And
just have really found this
it hasn't distracted one thing.
good. I feel so happy and empowered to be part of this community and love what you're putting out. So I'm just coming from a place of like pure gratitude. So thank you for having me here. And I encourage other people, like, put yourself out there, go on podcasts and talk, because I learn so much every time I do it, and I'll listen back and I'm like, oh, I got this little piece of gold from the interview. And I
Right.
find that propels me forward every day. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being on the podcast today. All of the details to your company, your location, your Diane and me, everything will be in the description. So if they want to reach out to you, all of those details will be there. And
Yeah.
I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Until next time. Bye.
Hey, ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo la la, foo la la, foo la la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise.